Hi friends, welcome back to a new session. In this session, we are going to discuss in chapter number 1 transformers. We are going to discuss features of ideal transformer, and in that after discussing features of ideal transformer, so we will discuss effect of winding resistance on the operation of transformer. Okay, so let me take this figure. The transformer core having two windings, primary winding, secondary winding. Already we know the winding which is connected to the source is nothing but primary winding. Winding which is connected to the load is nothing but secondary winding. So V1 is the applied voltage source. I can say time variant voltage source connected to the transformer, and I1 is the primary current. E1 is the primary winding into the EMF. Pi means core flux. E2 means secondary winding into the EMF. I2 means secondary winding current, or secondary side current. V2 means load current, load voltage I can take. V2 means load voltage. Okay, and let me take primary winding having number of turns N1, secondary winding having number of turns N2. Okay, so please tell me guys, what are the features of ideal transformer? Ideal transformer features I'm asking. Ideal transformer features. Ideal transformer features. Yeah. Tell me. First point I am saying. See guys, first of all, if you know already, we know the working principle of transformer. After connecting voltage source to the primary winding of the transformer, it will take some current. Because of that current, flux will be produced in the transformer core. That flux links with primary winding. So rate of change of flux linkage will come. EMF will be induced. Then same flux will go from primary to secondary side through transformer core. That means you please try to tell me. So flux has to, maximum flux has to pass from primary side to secondary side. That means there should not be any deviation in the flux. Example, let us assume that here 100% flux started here. 100% flux has to reach here, no? That means, suppose if you see the property of this transformer core, so transformer core should be having high permeability. What is the meaning of permeability? Permeability means ability to allow the magnetic field from primary side to secondary side. Permeability of transformer core means ability to allow the magnetic field, ability to allow the flux from primary side to secondary side. That permeability should be maximum. Suppose if you see guys, what is the formula for reluctance? Reluctance S is equals to length of the path of flux by A means cross section area of transformer core by mu naught mu r. Mu r means what I can say, relative permeability. Mu naught means absolute permeability. A means cross section area of transformer core. L means length of the path of the, I can say, flux. Okay. So what I am saying is permeability should be maximum, means to be frank, permeability should be infinite. I'm discussing about ideal transformer. For ideal transformer, permeability should be infinite. See, if you want to understand, if you want me to make you understand, let me take one graph. This is what I can say, pi versus I graph is there, which we'll discuss later. But for writing one point, I had taken this graph. It's a graph between pi versus I mu, or I can say BH curve also, you can call it as BH curve. Okay. So let me draw pi versus I mu graph for different type of materials. Suppose transformer core, if transformer core is made up of cast iron, this is a graph you are going to have. If transformer core is made up of cast steel, cast iron, cast steel, silicon steel, CR silicon steel, like that, so many materials you can take. So if transformer core is made up of cast iron, cast steel, silicon steel, CR silicon steel, let me take like this. So this is nothing but cast iron. Transformer core is made up of cast iron. Okay. Next, I can take mild steel. Next, let me take silicon steel. Next, let me take CR silicon steel. Silicon steel. Here we got one more thing. Transformer core is made up of cast iron, means let me take like this. Cast iron means this one. Cast steel means this one. If transformer core is made up of cast iron, this is a graph. If transformer core is made up of cast steel, this is a graph. If transformer core is made up of mild steel, if transformer core is made up of silicon steel, if transformer core is made up of CRGO silicon steel, this is the graph we are going to have, okay, for nothing but pi versus I mu graph for different type of materials. See guys, let me ask one simple question here now. Suppose I need this much flux in the transformer core. I need flux required in transformer core. Let me take it as pi required is the transformer flux required in the transformer core. So if for produce this much amount of flux in transformer core, so please tell me, if transformer core is made up of cast iron, it will take this much current, I mu 1 I will take, okay. Suppose transformer core is made up of cast steel, this much current, I mu 2. Suppose transformer core is made up of mild steel, this much current, I mu 3. Suppose transformer core is made up of silicon steel, this much current, I can say I mu 4. Next, if transformer core is made up of CRGO silicon steel, this much current. Okay, please try to see here. Transformer core is made up of different materials I have taken here. If transformer core is made up of cast iron, cast steel, mild steel, silicon steel, CRGO silicon steel. So if you want to produce this much amount of flux in the transformer core, if transformer core is made up of cast iron, it will take I mu 1. If it is made up of cast steel, it will take I mu 2. If it is made up of mild steel, it will take I mu 3. If it is made up of silicon steel, it will take I mu 4. If it is made up of CRGO silicon steel, it will take I mu 5. So please try to observe guys, if you come from right side to left side like this, I mu 1 to I mu 2 to I mu 3 to I mu 4 to I mu 5, if you are coming like this from right to left, this is what? Direction of what? Decreasing of what I can say? Decreasing of I mu value, decreasing of I mu value. And if you see guys here, so I'll discuss this one, it will come in future, nothing but transformer core one topic is there, then I'll tell you. When compared with cast iron, cast steel will be having a high permeability. When compared with cast steel, mild steel will be having high permeability. When compared with mild steel, silicon steel will be having high permeability. When compared with the silicon steel, CRGO silicon steel will be having high permeability. That means this direction is nothing but what? Increasing of permeability, increasing direction of permeability. Let me represent permeability with the mu, that's it, mu, okay. Or I can say increasing of flux density, increasing of I can say flux density, okay. Now tell me guys, very simple question I'm asking. Suppose here we are discussing about ideal transformer features. Transformer core is made up of silicon steel, it will take I mu 4 current. To magnetize the transformer core, it will take I mu 4. If transformer core is made up of CRGO silicon steel, it will take I mu 5, which is less than I mu 4. Is it clear guys? When compared to the silicon steel, CRGO silicon steel permeability is more, no? Very good. Suppose, let me use a material as transformer core, okay, whose permeability is infinite. Please try to understand. Let me use a material as transformer core whose permeability is infinite. At that time, requirement of I mu value how much? 0. Are you getting my question? So from silicon to CRGO silicon steel, permeability increases, I mu reduces, no? Suppose if I take a material, some X material is there, whose permeability is infinite. So for that material, requirement of I mu value is how much here? 0. This is very, very important point, okay. So transformer core should be having infinite permeability. So let me write here, first point, ideal transformer core, yeah, transformer core should have infinite permeability, mu. Infinite permeability, comma, guys, whenever permeability is infinite, what is the value of reluctance? 0, no? Infinite permeability, comma, 0, I can say reluctance, 0 reluctance, okay. I can read in bracket also, one more point, okay, one more point. So tell me guys, if transformer core is made up of a material whose permeability is infinite, and reluctance value is 0, for that material requirement of IMU value is how much here? IMU value how much? 0. This point I want to focus. Okay, that's why I'm just repeating for almost all 5 minutes like that. I have been discussing this point because in so many examinations they will give like this. Suppose if you see GATE examination or ESC questions, they will simply say figure shows ideal transformer, like that they will say. You should understand from yourself that if it is ideal transformer, so for ideal transformer permeability is infinite and reluctance is 0. What is the value of I mu? 0. That you should understand. Okay. So for ideal transformer, so permeability is infinite. I mu how much here? 0. So they mean if you are able to see any word ideal word like that, you should simply write I mu equal to 0. That's it. I mu equal to how much here? 0. Next guys. Second point. So transformer core should have infinite permeability, 0 reluctance, I mu equal to 0. This is the first property. Next guys. Ideally tell me guys, what might be the core losses? 0, no? So ideal transformer means what? Whatever the power you are giving as the input to the transformer, same power will get to the output. That means loss equal to 0. In the general we are having losses means iron loss and copper losses. First of all, let me discuss about iron losses. Okay. Iron losses. What is the other name for iron losses? Iron losses are, I can say, core losses assumed to be absent guys. Okay, therefore you please tell me guys, whenever core loss are 0, what is the value of IW? Please tell me. IW equal to 0, no? Because in the previous videos, if you observe clearly, I told IW, what is the name for this IW? Working component of no load current. What is the other name? Core loss component of no load current. It is used to represent core losses, or I can say iron losses. Whenever iron losses are 0, you can simply write IW equal to 0. That's it. Okay. And you know guys, third point, I can take I naught value how much here? 0. Why? What is the reason? Since relation between I naught, I mu and IW, I naught bar equals to I mu bar plus IW bar. Whenever I mu is 0, IW is 0, I naught also equal to 0. Next, fourth point. See guys. So if you take a primary winding and secondary winding, so ideally let us assume that winding has 0 resistance. I don't have any resistance value for that windings. It means 0 resistance value. Whenever resistance is 0, winding resistance is 0, what about IR drop, voltage drop, IR drop equal to 0? What about I square R losses? 0. I square R losses means copper losses can also be called as ohmic losses. Okay. So I can write here the fourth point, winding resistance is assumed to be absent, so what about IR drop? IR drop equal to how much here? IR drop equal to 0, I square R losses. I square R loss means what? I square R loss, or I can say copper losses. What is the other name? Ohmic losses. So winding resistance assumed to be absent. So IR drop equal to 0, I square R losses or copper losses or ohmic losses will be equal to how much? Will be equal to 0. Okay. Next guys, fifth point. Okay. Let me discuss about leakage flux. Leakage flux means what? Very simple. Suppose from here 100% flux started from primary winding, it wants to reach secondary winding. Okay. Suppose out of 100%, 90% flux only reaches secondary winding. Remaining 10% flux it takes path through the air. Here air is air. Okay. It takes path through the air. That means the flux which links with either primary winding or secondary winding but not both is called leakage flux. Example, see from here 100% flux started, so here 90% flux came, remaining 10% flux takes path through air. This 10% flux can be called as what? leakage flux, because this 10% flux links with only primary winding. It won't come and link with secondary winding. Or you can say reverse also. Suppose from here 100% flux started, but here 90% flux only reached. Remaining 10% flux takes part of the air. So that 10% flux also can be called as leakage flux. That means if flux links with both windings, example, if you take 90% here and from here 100% started, 90% came, no, 90% flux can be called as a useful flux, or I can say mutual flux, or I can say working flux. That is what that is having, I mean, useful flux importance means it involves in the power transfer function. Transformer transfers power from primary side to secondary side, no? In that function, mutual flux, or I can say useful flux, or I can say working flux will involve. Whereas this 10% flux will not involve in that power transfer function. That's why this leakage flux can also be called as useless flux. Whereas the mutual flux, 90% flux can be called as what here? Useful flux, working flux, mutual flux, because it is linking with both the primary and secondary. Is it clear? So what is the definition I can give for leakage flux? Leakage flux is the one which links with either primary winding or secondary winding, but not both. See, 10%, if you take this if you take this black color this fluxes, out of the 100%, 90% flux reached only, 10% is not coming and linking with secondary winding. So this flux can be called as leakage flux. This is linking with only primary. It is not coming and linking with secondary winding. Similarly, from here 100% flux started. So it is 90% flux only reached here. Remaining 10% is taking part of the air. This 10% flux started here. That means it links with secondary winding. It won't come and link with the primary winding. That flux can be called as leakage flux. So leakage flux is nothing but flux which links with either primary or secondary, but not both, is called leakage flux. Suppose if flux links with both primary winding and secondary winding, that flux can be called as a mutual flux, or I can say useful flux, or I can say working flux. Okay, so leakage flux definition I can also say in terms of low voltage winding and high voltage winding. Okay, leakage flux is the one which links with either low voltage winding or high voltage winding, but not both. Okay, mutual flux is the one which links with both low voltage winding and high voltage winding. Okay, so ideally that leakage flux assumed to be absent. That means from here 100% flux started means 100% flux has to reach in a secondary side. That means leakage flux assumed to be absent. So let me write here. So fifth point, leakage flux. Let me write simply pi suffix L, pi L. Leakage flux is assumed to be absent. Okay. You please note down one definition here. After fifth point, you please note down definition for leakage flux. Please keep subheading leakage flux. Pi L. Please give subheading leakage flux and just let me give a definition. Leakage flux definition. Flux that links with either low voltage winding, or high voltage winding, but not both, is called leakage flux. Full stop. You please write under that one more definition. See, please let me give one more point in leakage flux. Leakage flux also called as useless flux. Okay. Now please keep one more heading. Useful flux or mutual flux or working flux. Please note down. Flux that links with both low voltage winding and high voltage winding. Is called mutual flux. Or useful flux or working flux. Okay, right. See guys, suppose if I say leakage flux 0 means, what is the meaning? Leakage flux 0 means, example, see from here 100% flux started. Leakage flux 0 means 100% flux has to come to secondary side. That means there should not be any deviation. Entire flux should be confined to transformer core only. Whatever 100% flux is coming, that has to be confined to transformer core only. There should not be any deviation. Okay. So leakage flux 0 means what, guys? Please try to understand. Leakage flux 0 means there should not be any flux passing through air. Entire flux is confined to transformer core only. That is the meaning. Okay. See, this is what I am saying. Fifth point, leakage flux assumed to be absent. Okay. But practically, some leakage flux will be there. We will see all the effect of the leakage flux. Okay. Anyway, next was sixth point. See, guys, shape of pi versus I mu. Pi versus I mu, or I can say BH. You can write here pi I mu or BH. Shape of pi versus I mu or B versus H. Shape of pi A curve or shape of BH curve is linear without saturation. So very simple. Suppose, guys, I won't spend much time for this pi versus I mu curve, because separately we will discuss about this pi versus I mu curve in coming sessions, okay, in future. So simply see, pi versus I mu means, I mu curve if you want me to draw, if transformer core is made up of a ideal material, if transformer core is made up of material whose it's ideal material where there is no saturation, there is no non-linearity. Means suppose if you increase I mu value, flux will increase. If you increase I mu value, flux will increase. If you increase I mu value, flux will increase in this manner. This is what I guess the direction of magnetization. Okay. Suppose if you reduce current, flux will reduce. 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 If you make current 0, flux also will come to 0. Is it clear? That means ideally, if you observe clearly, magnetization and demagnetization, they are coinciding. See, this is the direction of this green color indicates direction of magnetization. This red color indicates direction of demagnetization. If you observe clearly, so here if you bring current to I mu to 0, flux also coming to 0 here. That means magnetization curve, demagnetization curve are coinciding, means we don't have any non-linearity. That is the meaning. Okay, so if you take ideal material, that ideal material will be having no non-linearity. Therefore, magnetization, demagnetization will be coinciding. And if you increase I mu value, flux will increase corresponding increasing of your I mu value. There is no saturation. If you are increasing I mu, flux will be increasing. If you are increasing I mu, flux will be increasing. There is no saturation like that we are seeing. But see, guys, ideally this type of material will not be there. You are increasing I mu, flux is increasing I mu, flux increasing without having saturation. And if you are reducing I mu, flux is reducing the same direction in which magnetization was there. If you reduce I mu, demagnetization coincides with the magnetization, like that, it will not happen. If you bring I mu to 0, flux also becoming 0. So that won't happen in practical transformer. For ideal transformer, if non-linearities are neglected, saturation is neglected, okay, so then pi A curve will be linear like this. But practically non-linearity will be there and saturation will be there. Because of non-linearity and saturation, pi versus I mu curve, or I say B versus H curve, BH curve or pi A curve will not be like this. It will not be like this. Okay. So that curve anyway we'll discuss in future about that. So just as of now, please remember that for ideal transformer, non-linearity is absent, saturation is absent. Therefore, pi versus I mu curve is linear. Okay, linear. But practically saturation will be there and non-linearity will be there. Because of non-linearity saturation, we are having some effect on the operation of transformer. That topic only we'll discuss separately as one topic. Okay, see, effect of non-linearities and saturation of magnetic core on the operation of transformer. This is a topic which I am just going to discuss after completion of single phase transformer before starting three phase transformers. Okay, so separately we will discuss about that. Okay, so here you can write 1 point, 6 point. Ideally, transformer core is made up of a material. Ideally, transformer core is made up of a material. Ideally, transformer core is made up of a material whose non-linearity and saturation is absent. So pi versus I mu curve is linear. So pi versus I mu curve is linear without saturation. Full stop. But practically pi versus I mu curve is not linear. Because of saturation and non-linearity. Of magnetic material. Is it clear, guys? Very simple. If a transformer core is made up of a magnetic material whose non-linearity and saturation is absent, at that time pi versus I mu curve is linear without saturation. But practically, so if you take any magnetic material, so it will be having a non-linearity nature and saturation concept. Because of that, pi versus I mu curve is not linear. So pi versus I mu curve is not linear. We are going to discuss about that in future separately as a separate. You will discuss as separate topic. Okay, right, guys. These are the 6 points regarding ideal transformer, guys. But you tell me. Practically, if you take a practical transformer, do you think that windings will be having zero resistance? No. Practically, if you take, do you think that windings will be having zero resistance? No. Windings will be having some finite resistance. Some resistance value will be there. Okay. So effect of winding resistance on the operation of transformer, we'll discuss this one. See, actually fourth point, winding resistance assumed to be absent, but to be frank, some resistance will be there. That only we are discussing here, effect of winding resistance on the operation of transformer. Okay, next we will discuss actually, if you see fifth point, leakage flux is assumed to be absent, but to be a practical leakage flux will be there. Effect of leakage flux on the operation of transformer, we'll discuss another topic. So after that, we'll construct equivalent circuit of exact equivalent circuit of transformer. I can say practical equivalent circuit of transformer. As of now, we are simply drawing ideal transformer having no resistance. But in this session, I'm just going to discuss effect of winding resistance. Similarly, in the next videos, we'll be discussing effect of leakage flux. After discussing those two things, we'll construct practical equivalent circuit of transformer. Is it clear? So right, so step one by one I'll be going. So first in this session I'm just going to discuss effect of winding resistance on the operation of transformer. For that, let me take a same figure which I just drawn here. Tell me, guys, I told you if you take primary winding and secondary winding, practically some resistance value will be there. Though it is a very good conductive material, some finite resistance value will be there, no doubt. Some finite resistance value will be there. That small resistance value you have to show in the circuit. See, guys, this primary winding will be having some resistance. That resistance value you have to show. Let me take it as R1. Similarly, secondary winding will be having some resistance. Let me show as R2. Okay. So I'm just going to discuss this one. Features of ideal transformer completed. Next we are going to discuss effect of winding resistance on the operation of transformer. Okay. Let me write here effect of winding resistance, effect of winding resistance, on the operation of transformer, on the operation of transformer. Tell me guys, suppose if resistance is not there, no doubt in primary side no drop, in secondary side no drop, in primary side no copper losses, in secondary side no copper losses. But because of this resistance value R1, in primary side some drop will be there, I1 R1 will be there, okay, and in secondary side also some I2 R2 drop will be there, okay. Before that you will be having some copper loss also will be there, okay. Let me write here, copper losses in primary side, in the primary side is equal to how much guys? Please tell me. You know what is the formula for copper loss? I square R? No, I square R. What is the current flowing primary side? I1. What is the primary resistance? R1. So copper loss in primary side equals to I1 square R1. Okay. Similarly, tell me copper losses in a secondary side. Equal to how much? Very simple topic only. You please try to tell me. I2 square R2. Tell me total copper losses in transformer. Total copper losses. You should use one small term here guys. You please try to see here. I am writing copper loss in primary side. To be frank, you should write a full load copper loss in primary side. What is the reason? See, copper loss depends on load. Example, full load means you should take current I1. Half load means I1 by 2. 1 by 4th load means I1 by 4. Like that you should take. Okay. So similarly here also, secondary side also, full load copper loss in secondary side means I2 square R2. Suppose if for half load means, if you want to say half load, I2 by 2 whole square R2. That means current becomes half. Half load means current becomes half. 1 by 4 means current becomes I by 4. Okay. Full load copper loss secondary side equals I2 square R2. So tell me total copper loss at full load condition. I am asking full load condition. So WCUFL is equals to how much? This plus this. I1 square R1 plus I2 square R2. Okay guys. Now tell me what is the meaning for this I1? I1 means what guys? I1 primary current, that everybody knows it. But please use one small word. It's not simply primary current. Full load primary current. Okay. So let me write here full load primary current. I1 is equal to formula. Similarly, I am asking full load secondary current. I2 equal to formula. Okay guys. You please see, generally transformer rating will be in a VA rating or I can say KVA. So for that I will be giving reason also after completion of losses topic. I will tell you why transformer rating will be in a VA or KVA, nothing but apparent power rating. Okay. So full load primary current equals to formula VA rating of transformer. VA rating of transformer simply write TRFR. VA rating of transformer divided by E1 in volts. That becomes full load primary current I1 in I can say in amperes. Okay. Full load primary current in amperes is equals to VA rating of transformer by E1 in volts. Similarly, full load secondary current I2 if you want in amperes. Tell me guys. Similarly, I can write here VA rating of transformer divided by what I can write? E2 value in volts. See, you should be very careful with units. Suppose if I take here amperes, here you should take VA, here you should take volts. Don't substitute kilovolts here. Don't substitute. Suppose if you take kVA and kilovolts, that is okay. Then you will get answer amperes. Suppose if you write VA here, you should take volts here. If you take kVA, here kV. Okay, so simply VA rating of transformer by E2 in volts, that gives you I2 in amperes. See guys, so for finding total full load copper loss in transformer, you should find out I1 value and you should find out what here I2 value. So these two things I have to find out. Okay, so instead of finding I1 and I2, then finding total full load copper losses, for finding copper losses in a simple way, we are going for referring concept. What is that? Referring, very important definition. I'm just going to write here. Referring means what? Referring means very simple here. See, the process of transferring transformer parameters. Transformer parameters may be resistance, reactance, voltage, okay, current, whatever. Okay, process of transferring transformer parameters from one side to another side is nothing but I can say referring. Okay, let me write here. Process of transferring. So here space is not there because it will be coinciding. So let me write here. Process of transferring transformer parameters. Process of transferring transformer parameters from one side to another side, from one side to another side is called, I can say, referring. To another side is called referring. Okay guys, process of transferring transformer parameters from one side to another side is called referring. So transformer parameters means what? These transformer parameters may be, it may be resistance, reactance, impedance, voltage, current, etc. Okay, is it clear guys? Let me discuss first of all, in this case we are discussing about resistance. We are discussing about resistance. Let me give one small note here. So let me refer first of all resistances. Okay. So while transferring resistances from one side to another side, what is the condition you have to follow? That's very important. Okay, so please note down as a note here. While transferring resistances from one side to another side, the following conditions should be satisfied. What is that? See guys, copper losses in the resistor before transfer is equal to copper losses in the same resistor after transfer also. After transfer. This condition you have to follow. Okay, please try to keep in a box. Okay, this one. Copper loss in the resistor before transfer is equal to copper loss in the same resistor after transfer. This is the condition you have to follow. Is it clear guys? Now let us see. Suppose let me refer secondary side resistance R2 towards a primary. See, very simple. Secondary winding resistance R2 referring towards the primary means I can write simply here secondary to primary. This is a heading. Secondary to primary means what guys? Whatever resistance R2 is there in secondary side, that I am referring towards a primary. That is the meaning. Secondary to primary means whatever resistance R2 is in secondary side, that is referring towards a primary. Tell me, before referring, where R2 is there? R2 is present in secondary. Tell me, before transfer, what is the copper losses in relation R2? It is the secondary side. What is the current flowing in the secondary side? I2. I2 square R2 is equal to. So if I refer R2, secondary side raises R2 towards primary, this R2 is coming into primary side, it becomes R2 dash. Same relation R2 becomes here R2 dash. Is it clear? Now tell me what is the copper losses through this R2 dash? What is the current flowing in primary side? I1. So I can simply here I1 square into R2 dash, that's it. Now from this tell me guys, how can you write R2 dash formula? R2 dash equals to R2 into I2 by I1 whole square. We know already guys, K equal to the formula transformation ratio, K equal to, already I told in EMF equation of transformer, please try to see that. E2 by E1 is equal to N2 by N1. Can you please tell me in terms of current? Transformer is a constant power device. Therefore, obviously, if voltage is more, current will be less. If voltage is less, current will be more. What is the meaning? E and I, they are inverse related with each other. Therefore, if I write E2 by E1, definitely you should write here I1 by I2, no? I1 by I2. That's it. This is the formula for K. Anyway, I am just going to derive K equal to I1 by I2. How you are getting this one also I am just going to derive in future. But simply like this also I can write. Okay. So guys, I1 by I2 means K, but here I2 by 1 is that means what? 1 by K. Square is there here. Therefore, R2 dash equal, what is the formula? R2 by K square. This is the formula for R2 dash. Simple. Next, tell me what about if I after referring secondary to primary, R2 becomes R2 dash. Formula is R2 by K square. Okay. Now, similarly, please tell me primary to secondary. Primary to secondary means what? Whatever resistance it is there in primary side means what is the resistance present in primary side? R1. If it goes towards secondary side, it becomes R1 dash. So what is the formula for R1 dash? I am asking. Before that, before transfer, R1 is in primary side. What is the copper loss through R1? If it is in primary side, I1 square R1 equal to, if R1 is coming towards secondary side, it becomes R1 dash. What is the current flowing through R1 dash in secondary side? I can say I2, copper loss means I2 square R1. So tell me from this R1 dash formula, R1 dash is equals to, please tell me, R1 into I1 by I2 whole square. That means R1 dash equals to R1 into K square. This is the formula for R1 dash. Is it clear? Suppose if I ask one question like this, total resistance of transformer, I am writing resistance like this symbol, okay? Total resistance of transformer, in a simple way I am writing guys, don't confuse with the TRFR. Transformer means TRFR I am writing, okay? Total resistance of transformer with respect to primary side PS is equals to what? See, I am asking total resistance of transformer with respect to primary side. Okay, then you see already with respect to primary side means already in primary side what is the resistance value you are getting? You are having R1, okay, plus. So from secondary R2 is coming, it is becoming R2 dash. When it is coming to primary side, it becomes R2 dash, no? R1 plus R2 dash, that is equal to R01. This is the total resistance value with respect to primary side. Similarly, I am asking total resistance of transformer with respect to secondary side. In secondary side, R2 already it is there, that is okay. So with respect to secondary side means I am referring primary side resistance value towards secondary, that is the meaning. So in primary side resistance value is R1, if it is coming to second it becomes R1 dash, R2 plus R1 dash, that becomes R02. Okay guys, now you please tell me, before referring I told if you want me to write total copper losses, you said what is the formula? You told total copper loss at a full load, if I am asking you, you said that I1 square R1 plus I2 square R2. Now I am asking total copper losses at full load condition is equal to how much? Tell me what is the formula you wrote previously. That let me copy as it is. So WCUFL is equal to, previously you calculated a copper loss in primary side, you calculated copper loss in secondary side, then you added. So I1 square R1 plus I2 square R2. This is the value told, right? Okay. Suppose with respect to primary, if I ask you, it's a very simple question I am asking, guys, don't confuse. Whenever R1 is in primary, R2 is secondary. If I won't refer at that time, copper loss means if I ask you total full load copper losses, you can say like this, I1 square R1 plus I2 square R2. That is okay. I am asking now total full load copper losses at full load condition without referring means I1 square R1 plus I2 square R2. That is okay. Suppose with respect to primary, if I ask you, that word is very important. With respect to primary means what is the current flowing in primary side? I1. I am asking copper loss, right? You should write I1 square into. So with respect to primary means, tell me what is the total resistance value of transformer with respect to primary. Total resistance of transformer with respect to primary side, R01. So R01. So total copper loss with respect to primary means this is the formula. Total copper losses at full load condition without referring means this is the formula. If I ask total copper loss with respect to secondary means what is the current flowing secondary side? I2. Since I am finding copper loss, I should write I2 square. Tell me total resistance of the transformer with respect to secondary side. With respect to secondary side means you should write R02. R02. So all these three values, I1 square R1 plus I2 square R2, I1 square R01, or I can say I2 square R02, everything will be same only. Everything will be same only. Okay, please try to understand that. Okay, please note on that. Right. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Now guys, I can ask one more question also in this topic. Let me use some more formulas here. So can you please tell me, before telling this point, let me ask a simple question. What is the formula for per unit value? Per unit value is equal to what? Actual value divided by what? Base value. Actual value divided by base value. So one thing you have to understand, this actual value and the base value should be having same units. You should be having same units. Then only per unit value will be unitless quantity. It is a unitless quantity. It is a unitless quantity. It is a unitless quantity. Is it clear, guys? Now let me ask question. Very simple question I am asking. Per unit. Please let me repeat once again. Per unit resistance drop, per unit resistance drop with respect to primary. I am asking with respect to primary means, please tell me how can you answer this question. See, in place of value, what it is there here? Resistance drop with respect to primary. Tell me what is the formula for per unit value? Actual value, base value, no. So tell me actual value means this time you have to write actual resistance drop with respect to primary by what? Base value. And I told you these two should be having same units, no? These two should be having a same units. So tell me guys, what is the actual resistance drop with respect to primary? I'm asking. Actual resistance drop with respect to primary. Drop means what? Simply IR, no? That's it, IR. I'm asking with respect to primary, therefore current becomes I1. With respect to primary, what is the total resistance of the transformer with respect to primary side? R01. Simply I1 R01 divided by, okay. Tell me guys, since I1 R01 having what are the units? Volts. So I can write here I1 R01 having units what here? Volts. Divided by, tell me what is the parameter related to transformer having units volts. So I can say E1, right? So E1 is the term related to related to transformer, because E1 is the induced EMF in a primary winding. And what are the units for this E1? Volts. This E1 comma E2 will be mentioned on nameplate details, which we discuss later. Okay, simply here I can write here E1 I can take here, because E1 is the value which is mentioned on nameplate details and having units of volts. So what is the formula for per unit resistance drop with respect to primary? I1 R01 by E1 is the formula. Similarly guys, tell me per unit resistance drop with respect to secondary. I hope you will tell answer fastly without late. Okay, please tell me. Actual resistance drop with respect to secondary, I2 R02 having units volts divided by E2 having units of volts. Is it clear guys? Okay, and one thing is very important. Advantage of per unit system is nothing but, after calculating these values I1 R01 by E1 and I2 R02 by E2, if you observe clearly, those two values will be equal. That is very important. Okay, let me write on the board. Yes, I can write here in per unit system. Simply in per unit system, if you observe clearly, okay, so I can write here I1 R01 by E1 will be equal to what guys? I2 R02 by E2. That you have to understand. This is very important. You should understand. This is very important. Okay. Next guys, one more thing I want to ask here. See, so in per unit system, one statement I'm just going to write here. This will come in power system for you. One separate topic is there, one separate chapter is there for you. Per unit system. Okay. In per unit system, per unit resistance drop can be simply called as per unit resistance without using this word drop. Is it clear guys? In per unit system, per unit resistance drop can be simply called as per unit resistance without using that word drop. That means guys, suppose in examination, if they ask you per unit resistance drop with respect to primary, this is the formula you have to use. Suppose instead of using this drop, if they ask you per unit resistance with respect to primary, then also I1 R01 by E1 only. Okay, so that is why I had given a statement. In per unit system, per unit resistance drop can be simply called as per unit resistance. Suppose if they ask you per unit resistance with respect to primary, you should write I1 R01 by E1 only. Okay, similarly I can write one more point here. In per unit system, percentage I can write percentage resistance drop can be simply called as percentage resistance without using once again that word drop. Generally you tell me percentage value means what here? Per unit value means you said actual base value. I am asking percentage value equals to what? Actual value by base value is nothing but what? It's a per unit value, no? It's a per unit value. So multiplied with 100, that gives you percentage value. Okay, very simple. Actual value of base value is nothing but per unit value. If you multiply with 100 to this per unit value, that becomes a percentage value. Is it clear, guys? So please, like this, please tell me two formulas here. Percentage resistance drop. Percentage resistance drop with respect to primary. With respect to primary, percentage resistance of resistance drop with respect to primary equal to what? I told now, per unit value into 100. So simply write this and multiply with 100. That's it. I1 R01 by E1 multiplied with 100. That's it. Similarly, percentage resistance drop, okay, with respect to secondary, please. With respect to secondary, I am asking. Tell me what made the formula? I2 R02 by E2 multiplied with 100. And see, guys, simple. As I wrote, if you see here, I wrote here in per unit system, I wrote I1 R01 by E1 equal to I2 R0 by E2, no? So simply here, I1 R01 by E1 multiplied with 100 is equals to what? I2 R02 by E2 multiplied with 100. Once again, simple. In left hand side just multiply with 100. In right hand side also just multiply with 100. That's it. That means in per unit system, okay, per unit resistance drop with respect to primary, per unit resistance drop with respect to secondary will be equal. Similarly, in per unit system, percentage resistance drop with respect to primary and percentage resistance drop with respect to secondary also will be equal. And one more thing I told, in per unit system, per unit resistance drop can be simply called as per unit resistance. Means instead of asking per unit resistance drop, if they ask you per unit resistance also, you have to use the same formula. Similarly, I wrote one more formula also. In per unit system, percentage resistance drop can be simply called as percentage resistance of the transformer. Means if they ask you percentage resistance with respect to primary without using this word drop, you should use this same formula once again. There is only this note, no? Okay. So percentage resistance with respect to primary means I1 R01 by E1 into 100. Indirectly he is asking percentage resistance drop only. Similarly, percentage resistance with respect to secondary means without using this word drop, once again you have to say this formula I2 R02 by E2 into 100. Is it clear, guys? This is what effect of winding resistance on the operation of transformer. Very simple. Let me conclude. So if you see features of ideal transformer, I told first one, transformer core should be having infinite permeability, IME value equal to 0. And if you see, next point we said winding resistance equal to 0. Okay, copper loss equal to 0, iron loss equal to 0, IME equal to 0, IW equal to 0, I0 equal to 0. Leakage flux assumed to be absent. Okay, but practically some leakage flux will be there. We will see effect of leakage flux also in future. Next, shape of pi A curve is linear without saturation if non-linearities and saturation are neglected. But practical non-linearities and saturation will be there. We will see those effects also in future. Okay. And if you see, guys, effect of winding resistance on the operation of transformer, if resistance is not there, we have IR drop equal to 0, I square R loss also equal to 0. If resistance is there, so IR drop will come into picture, I square R losses will come into picture. I square R loss means copper losses, or one more thing, one more name is there, ohmic losses. Okay. Suppose if you see here, I told here, suppose without referring, if you want me to ask you what is the total full load copper loss means, I can write I1 square R1 plus I2 square R2. Okay. And after referring means what? Process of transferring transformer parameters from one side to another side is called referring. If you see after referring, secondary to primary means secondary resistance R2, if it comes to primary it becomes R2 dash. I told you formula also R2 by K square. If I refer primary side resistance R1 towards secondary, this R1 becomes R1 dash formula R1 into K square. Total resistance of transformer with respect to primary means R1 is here, from secondary R2 is coming, it becomes R2 dash, R1 plus R2 dash is equal to R01. Total resistance of transformer with respect to secondary means in secondary side R2 is there, from primary R1 is coming, it is becoming R1 dash, R2 plus R1 dash equals to R02. Suppose if I ask you total full load copper losses, you can write I1 I1 square R1 plus I2 square R2, or I can say I1 square R01, or I can say I2 square R02. Both are same only. And if you see per unit concept, per unit resistance drop with respect to primary means I1 R01 by E1. With respect to secondary means I2 R2 by E2. In per unit system, per unit resistance drop can be simply called as per unit resistance. That one I had given as a note here. And if you see, these two values will be equal. This is very important. And percentage value means what? Per unit value multiplied with 100 gives you percentage value. And since these two are equal, if I multiply with 100 in left hand side and right hand side, I1 R01 by E1 into 100 equal to I2 R02 by E2 into 100. Okay. Percentage resistance drop with respect to primary means this is the formula. If I ask you percentage resistance with respect to primary also, same formula you should say, because I told you in per unit system, percentage resistance drop can be simply called as percentage resistance of the transformer. Okay. And anyway, no problem, all those things will come once again in copper losses. There I'll tell you why copper loss are variable losses, how they are changing with the load, all those things we'll discuss clearly. So in the next video guys, before explaining effect of leakage flux on the operation of transformer, I told in ideal transformer, leakage flux assumed to be absent, but practical leakage flux will be there. Before explaining effect of leakage flux on the operation of transformer, let me discuss transformer as constant flux device first of all. So their total transformer functionality will come clearly. How, direction of flux lines, all those things, Lenz law, everything will come clearly in the next video. After completion of transformer as constant flux device topic, then I'll take effect of leakage flux on the operation of transformer. Then we'll discuss exact equivalent circuit of transformer. Okay. So after discussing exact equivalent circuit of transformer, we'll discuss some previous gate questions up to equivalent circuit of transformer. Whatever previous questions are there from gate, okay, all those things we'll discuss. Then we'll go for losses topic. Is it clear guys? So here there is no need to confuse. Copper loss means I told formula, previous I told I square R I told. So generally copper loss can be called as a variable loss because they are varying with load. They are varying with load current. All those things will come clearly once again in a copper losses topic. Don't worry, okay. So please note on all those things. Thank you.